ANC would like to show their muscle in the northwest by attracting large crowds to the Royal Bafokeng Stadium in Rustenburg. Thousands of ANC members and supporters are expected from all over the country to grace the anniversary. We cross now to Aldrin Sampear ahead of the main celebrations tomorrow. Aldrin, good afternoon to you. So the ANC has been hard at work drumming up support. What have you observed on the ground?
Well, today is the final push for that big event that will be taking place tomorrow at the Royal Bafokeng Stadium. The ANC expecting 150,000 people to come through to this event. And speaking to the provincial secretary of the ANC here in the northwest, Mr. Takota, saying that this will be the mother of all January 8 statements. He says 150,000 people expected. There's also an overflow area that has been set up, and those who will be sitting at the overflow area will also be getting the live stream as President Jacob Zuma delivers the keynote address, the ANC's January 8 statement, as well as the messages of support. And I guess for the alliance partners, that is a great boost, because remember that the ANC NEC had indicated earlier this week that the alliance partners will not be allowed to speak because of the heat that is expected. Temperatures expected to rise right above 41 degrees Celsius tomorrow. And now after showing their dissatisfaction and speaking to the NEC during the two meetings that have been taking place, the NEC then finally decided that let's allow the alliance partners to also give those messages of support. So the tradition will continue. Tomorrow's program is still unclear what time exactly it will start, but it will kick off with the normal cultural events, and then the formal program where the messages of support will come through and President Jacob Zuma delivering the keynote address. But what we do know is that the President's keynote address should be done before noon. And that's the indication, or the directive rather, that they got from the emergency services officials who will be on standby at the stadium.
Do we know, now that you mention the President's keynote address tomorrow, do we know what the nation can expect from his address?
Well, a whole lot of expectations. For instance, when you speak to the ANC Youth League, who's also part of the NEC, and remember that the January 8th statement is an NEC statement which is delivered by the President. They want the President to speak on racialism, especially in light of all the reports on racism taking place on social media, or displayed rather on social media. Earlier on, I spoke to Baleka Mbete as well, the national chairperson of the ANC, and she was also speaking to that. And we wonder, though, whether the President will mention in his speech the ANC's push to criminalize racism here in South Africa. Another issue is, of course, the economy, and the that we got from the deputy president of the ANC, Cyril Ramaphosa, when we spoke to him on Wednesday, or when we spoke to him on, I think it was Thursday rather, when we spoke to him when he had the alliance partners provincial meeting. He indicated that the economy is paramount to the speech that the president will be giving. And of course, he also said during that interview that some policies will also be given during this alliance speech, during the January 8th statement, as to what mechanisms the ANC will be putting in place to make sure that the country's economy is back on track. And of course, the other issue is the issue around education. Remember that President Jacob Zuma last year during the Fees Must Fall campaign said that there will not be any fee increases this year. And probably today, or tomorrow rather, we'll hear how far that has gone. We know that 2.3 billion rand has been set aside to cover the shortfall so far, and the commission that's also been set up will start later this month, the commission that will be looking into the viability or the feasibility of no fees in the country.
And Aldrin, so a lot on the agenda then. How are things looking security-wise, and also a lot of people expected to arrive tomorrow? The people of the Northwest upbeat about the celebrations, and who else can we expect to be part of proceedings tomorrow?
Well, yes, it depends really on who you speak to when you're here in the Northwest about the ANC event. But for most of those that we've spoken to, they're really excited about the event. They'll be going through. And speaking to Cyril Ramaphosa, who went to Tlokwe, remember what's been happening in Tlokwe with the divisions in Tlokwe between the ANC itself and with the opposition parties as well. What he says what happened in Tlokwe really surprised him. They feel that the ANC has turned the tide, so definitely they feel that they will be able to bring through those 150,000 people who they expect to be turning up tomorrow at the big event. And issues around security, they say security will be tight, and all those people who will be coming through to the event must know that alcohol will not be allowed. You'll only be allowed to come through with your bottled water, or even if it is in a cooler box, but alcohol will not be allowed at the event, and security will be tight. Speaking to the provincial secretary, he said that tomorrow the Royal Bafokeng Stadium will be the safest place in the country.
All right, Aldrin, thank you very much for that update. Our reporter Aldrin Sampear live from Rustenburg. Well, taking a look